Imagine a mountain falling from the sky, a 10-kilometer rock blazing a trail of fire as it smashes toward a blue-green world. Its journey has spanned millions of years and countless miles through the black silence of space. Guided by the tug of giant planets, the gravity of wandering comets, and the faint wobble of its own spin, when it finally strikes our atmosphere, it will glow as bright as a second sun, carving a white-hot streak across the sky. In just a few hours, the mountain will collide with our planet. For any dinosaur out for an early breakfast, this will be the worst commute imaginable. We can almost feel the ground quake underfoot. This titanic collision packs more energy than 100 million nuclear bombs exploding at once. The impact will instantly vaporize billions of tons of rock and seawater, hurling vast clouds of superheated ash and sulfur into the stratosphere. Tsunamis higher than skyscrapers will fan outward from the impact site, bulldozing coastlines on every continent. Then the skies go black. A global winter descends as sunlight is choked by dust and aerosols. Temperatures crash by tens of degrees. Plants stop growing without sunlight. The giant plant eaters starve, and soon all their predators with empty stomachs die too. Within a year, 3/4 of life on Earth vanish. Even the mighty dinosaurs, larger than a house cat, disappear. What would it feel like to live in those final moments of light, to witness the last sunrise of the Age of Dinosaurs? But what if fate had dealt a different hand? In the cosmic game of billiards, even a tiny nudge changes everything. The asteroid's path depended on billions of factors across time. The tug of Jupiter, a passing comet's gravity, even the faint wobble of Earth's orbit. Shift one variable by just a hair, and the rock could have missed the continent entirely. Imagine it arriving just minutes later, plunging 2,000 kilometers out in the deep Pacific Ocean. In that case, most of its energy would have been soaked up by water. A 100-meter tsunami would devastate coasts, but the sky would clear relatively fast. The sun would dim for months, not years. Green forests would burst out again in the following spring. The great plant eaters would graze as usual, and their predators would hunt happily on. Dinosaurs heavier than houses would wake up to a world shaken but unbroken. For a short time, the Cretaceous would simply continue, like hitting the snooze button on the apocalypse. This possibility is a stunning reminder of how much of history hangs on a knife edge. In this alternate timeline, the asteroid would not be the end, but just one wild event in a long story. Instead of an extinction, it would be a catastrophe to recover from, followed by another dawn for the dinosaurs. Could such a twist of timing mean that the dinosaurs never went extinct at all? To find out how we know the real story, imagine a detective puzzle hidden in the rocks. Imagine stumbling on a cosmic calling card in Earth's crust. That's what happened when Luis Alvarez and his son Walter made a startling discovery in 1980. They were standing in the Italian hills of Gubbio, examining a thin layer of clay that marked the exact moment the dinosaurs disappeared from the record. In that strip of rock, they found something extraordinary. A sudden spike of iridium 30 times higher than normal. Now, iridium is almost non-existent on the surface of Earth. Most of it sank to the core long ago. But asteroids are rich in it. Seeing that strange abundance, the Alvarezes had a hunch. This was evidence of an enormous asteroid strike at that very moment. They announced their idea. Somewhere on Earth, there must be a crater the size of a 100-mile hole to prove the crime. Many experts were skeptical. Geologists pointed to something else: the fiery Deccan traps in India. Around the same time, those volcanoes had been pouring out lava like an unstoppable flood, painting half of India in basalt. Could such eruptions alone have erased the dinosaurs? It was a fierce debate, but the Alvarezes and their allies kept hunting for clues. They followed the iridium trail around the globe, sampling rocks and seawater sediments. Where was the smoking gun? Where was the crater that would confirm this cosmic murder? The smoking gun was there all along, hidden beneath jungle and limestone. In 1978, geophysicists mapping the Yucatan Peninsula noticed something peculiar. Gravitational and magnetic scans showed a huge circular anomaly under the rocks. Geophysicist Glenn Penfield suggested it might be an impact crater, but it wasn't confirmed until oil drillers finally took core samples. When they did, the truth leaped out. Cores contained shocked quartz grains and tiny glass spherules, unmistakable signs of a cataclysmic impact. The circular structure was massive, more than 200 kilometers across. This was the crater the Alvarezes had predicted. It was eventually named Chicxulub, after a nearby village, a Mayan word meaning tail of the devil, a fitting title for an ancient cosmic wound. By 1990, the case was closed. Here was a hole big enough and exactly 66 million years old, capable of ending the dinosaurs. It was the smoking gun on Earth's surface, marking the moment of extinction. If that scar had never been punched into the ground, would the Cretaceous record simply continue as a smooth layer of rock? Could it be that all the clues we rely on would never have been written? What stories would the stones tell in a world where that impact never occurred? Our alternate story picks up in that fateful moment. The asteroid is screaming through Earth's atmosphere like a second sun, a white-hot spear of destruction visible for 1,000 kilometers around. It plunges down, not into Yucatan, but deep into the Pacific Ocean. The impact still unleashes enormous power. A towering plume of water shoots into the sky, and tsunamis taller than skyscrapers race outward in all directions. Coastlines on both sides of the ocean are blasted by walls of water. For any dinosaur strolling on a beach, it might be the worst surf report in history. But above the waves, the sky remains remarkably clear. Without land to vaporize, far less dust and sulfur reach the air. Sunlight filters through almost as normal. There's no planet-wide blackout. The global thermostat barely budges. Millions of sea creatures die instantly in the waves' wake, and coastal forests burn from firestorms. But beyond the seashore, the impact feels like a massive storm, not a world-ending cataclysm. Inland rivers flood, but run clear soon after. Ash settles quickly. The Tyrannosaurs and Triceratops and Hadrosaurs and all their kin wake up to a ruined landscape. But it is a landscape that still exists. For them, this would be an awful, deadly disaster. But just one more trial among many they have survived. Imagine a Triceratops grazing in a valley miles from the shore. The ground would tremble and the sky would flare, but in a few years, its children would still be trampling those same fields. The dinosaurs aren't done yet. Could life recover after such a blow? Would these giants continue their reign? Imagine stepping back 66 million years into a world more humid and warm than anything you know. Forget the barren badlands of Hollywood fantasy. Imagine instead a green world, so humid and hot that palm trees brushed the poles and crocodiles basked above the Arctic Circle. Sea levels were high, over 100 meters above today's shores, flooding continents with shallow seas. North America was split in two by a watery superhighway called the Western Interior Seaway. India was an island wandering north, and Australia still clung to Antarctica, both swathed in temperate forests. Europe and Asia were a chain of tropical islands laced with rivers and lagoons. There were no polar ice caps. Antarctica had forests where ferns and conifers thrived under summer-like midnight suns. The atmosphere itself was like a warm, thick blanket. Carbon dioxide levels sky high, oxygen even a bit higher than today. Imagine stepping outside into a tropical jungle that stretched from pole to pole. Trees dripping with ferns and flowers towered overhead, and clouds of gigantic insects hummed through the air. The smell of wet wood and resin filled every breeze. Every ecosystem was claimed by dinosaurs. In the swamps and floodplains, herds of long-horned triceratops and duck-billed hadrosaurs roamed like cattle. Smaller, deer-sized ornithopods and forest dwellers skittered in the undergrowth. High on a rock outcrop, Tyrannosaurus rex watched over its realm, as adept at surveying for prey as an eagle in our skies. And above it all, huge pterosaurs like Quetzalcoatlus glided on warm currents, their wings casting shadows the size of small airplanes. What would it feel like to wander in those ancient forests among the dinosaurs? The best window into that vanished world comes from a place called the Hell Creek Formation. Along these rocks in Montana and the Dakotas, the last 3 million years of the Cretaceous are fossilized in remarkable detail. It's like a snapshot of an entire ecosystem preserved in stone. The undisputed ruler of Hell Creek was Tyrannosaurus rex. To picture this animal, imagine 12 meters of pure power, 9,000 kilograms of muscle and bone, on legs built like sprinters. Its skull was big enough to swallow a human whole, lined with teeth as long as a human forearm, serrated like steak knives, and capable of shearing through bone as easily as you might bite into an apple. Its eyes were forward-facing, giving it depth perception like a modern hawk. Scientists have calculated that its vision would have exceeded that of modern birds of prey, possibly spotting prey from kilometers away. This was not a slow scavenger. This was an apex predator with the sensory equipment of a precision hunter. It could run in short bursts at speeds rivaling a charging horse, tail streaming out behind for balance. Imagine a freight train that can also sprint. That was T-Rex. For any smaller carnivore or herbivore, encountering this predator was a gamble for survival. Who would dare walk into its territory, knowing just one swipe of that tail or snap of those jaws meant instant death? T-Rex was the heavyweight, but it shared its kingdom with a whole cast of predators. In Hell Creek, you would find feathery dromaeosaurs springing out of bushes like Cretaceous velociraptors, smaller tyrannosaurs, perhaps hunting in packs, and stealthy troodontids prowling in the dusk. These troodontids were bird-like dinosaurs with huge forward-facing eyes and brains larger than any other dinosaur groups. Perfect for night vision and clever hunting strategies. They were the owl bears of prehistory. Imagine a gang of hungry tyrannosaurs stalking together like a pride of lions, or a pack of raptors coordinating an ambush in the underbrush. Meanwhile, troodontids slipped around under the moonlight, their brains at work solving problems even T-Rex might ignore. Each predator had its niche. Some were built for speed, others for precision or cunning. For every habitat in that late Cretaceous landscape, there was a carnivore adapted to it. Some paleontologists suspect Troodontids were so smart, they might even have cared for their young in nests and crept out in twilight to hunt. The smaller carnivores didn't just scavenge. They had tools of their own: sickle claws, sensitive snouts, or pack tactics to deal with dinner. T-Rex might have had the killing bite, but these others had tricks. Could any of these cunning hunters outsmart the tyrant lizard king? What role might intelligence have played in the Age of Giants? The herbivores of Hell Creek were even more astonishingly diverse, and they dominated the landscape. In fact, one dinosaur ruled these herds above all: Triceratops. Picture the great bison herds of America's prairies. But every buffalo is replaced by a 9-meter-long, fully armored tank. A Triceratops weighed as much as a loaded school bus, with a skull a third of its body length, 3 massive horns, and a solid bone frill protecting its neck. Its horns could gore a T-Rex's jaw like a kebab. Alongside these bulls marched the hadrosaurs, hordes 6 to 10 meters long, each with hundreds of interlocking teeth stacked in jaw batteries. They could chew tough plants like steady mowing machines across the ancient plains. Among them lurked Ankylosaurus, the living fortress, a squat body covered in heavy bony plates and armed with a clubbed tail that could shatter bone on a single swing. Pachycephalosaurs, with their thick domed skulls, might have locked heads in contests like modern bighorn sheep. Smaller ornithopods browsed low underfoot, and even tiny mammals scurried through the brush. Imagine standing among them, the earth trembling with every step, the air filled with roars, grunts, and the rustle of huge tails. Lush ferns and cycads brush against your legs as dinosaurs as big as cars shuffle past you. What must it feel like to stand amid a thunder of armored giants, the ground trembling as they march? And what about the mammals? They had shared the planet with dinosaurs for over 150 million years, but always on a tiny scale. The largest known Mesozoic mammal was barely the size of a badger. Most were little nocturnal insectivores scurrying underfoot, or tree dwellers asleep by day. Think of them as the world's street mice or squirrels, thriving in the cracks of the sidewalk, while dinosaurs roamed like skyscrapers overhead. These mammals occupied the niches that dinosaurs left empty. They were climbers, burrowers, and opportunistic omnivores. Every environment had its specialist. Early marsupials gliding between trees at dusk, tiny placental insect eaters sniffing out grubs in the leaf litter, burly multituberculates chewing on tough plant matter in the undergrowth. By the end of the Cretaceous, dozens of these lineages existed, but none of them came close to competing with the giants in terms of size or strength. They were extremely successful at what they did, adaptable and resourceful survivors of volcanic winters and climate swings, but they always lived in the dinosaur-dominated world's shadows. It wasn't that mammals were unambitious. The big cathedral halls of ecology were simply taken. Without the asteroid, the question remains, could these small survivors ever break out of the shadows? If the dinosaur empire continued, would a mammal ever step onto the stage as anything more than a background extra? There's a story we've been telling ourselves. Dinosaurs were great failures, too heavy and dim-witted to survive. And when the asteroid hit, evolution finally corrected itself. warm-blooded furry mammals took over because they were the rightful inheritors. Poor. But this story is a comforting myth. Dinosaurs were not failures, but phenomenally successful survivors. They dominated every land habitat for over 165 million years, evolving thousands of species. Poor. They spanned more ecological niches than almost any other creatures before or since. Many had advanced brains and senses. Some were likely warm-blooded or covered in feathers, with keen vision and a social life that included parental care. In other words, they were quite sophisticated. And the mammals? They had diversified in the shadows too, but most lines had been squeezed by their own competitors. There was no unoccupied throne waiting when the dinosaurs fell. Mammals took over only because that accident opened the stage. If that asteroid had missed, the idea that we got the right ending would collapse. Instead of a final curtain call, the dinosaur saga would simply continue. We would not see ourselves as cosmic heroes. Humanity wouldn't yet exist. So, in a world without extinction, how would the narrative change? Would we still be counting our chances as lucky? Or would nature have written a completely different chapter? For 165 million years, Earth was a greenhouse world, warm from pole to pole, humid, with forests in regions that today we find frozen. Dinosaurs evolved in this stable climate, and many were perfectly adapted to it. But over tens of millions of years, the stage was set to change. Continents continued to drift. Antarctica split from South America, and a circumpolar current was born. The Himalayas and Rocky Mountains were uplifting, their weathering drawing carbon out of the air. Carbon dioxide levels began to fall. A slow cooling trend took hold. Ice sheets formed on high peaks for the first time. Seasonal temperature swings returned. The steady, summer-like climate of the Mesozoic gave way to seasons and winter. Imagine these ancient creatures experiencing the first snowfall of their lives. For dinosaurs, who had lived with summer everywhere and never known winter, this was an unprecedented shift. Eventually, this cooling would bring ice ages and grasslands. Could creatures bred for eternal springtime adapt to this new regime? If their empire continued unbroken, how would these creatures face a planet black that was changing without them? 10 million years have passed since that asteroid missed. If you could travel to this alternate world, you might think nothing much has changed at first. The continents still look familiar, and the climate remains warm and humid like the late Cretaceous. Paleontologists might recognize the landscape, but evolution has been working. Generations of dinosaurs have come and gone, each slightly different. Species have drifted and diversified. You might see creatures similar to those of 66 million years ago, but with evolutionary twists. Perhaps new subspecies of hadrosaurs with different crests, or a slightly bigger Tyrannosaurus cousin with modified teeth. One of the biggest changes is in the plants. Flowering plants, or angiosperms, had been spreading throughout the Cretaceous, diversifying and outcompeting older conifers and ferns. Without a mass extinction to interrupt them, this process continued unabated. By now, forests and plains are full of flowering trees and shrubs, many bursting with colorful fruits. The first true grasses are appearing along riverbanks, even though they were once nothing more than a wind-blown novelty. Imagine the undergrowth, low bushes heavy with berries, swampy ferns interwoven with vines of flowers. Dinosaurs have new diets, some chewing more tender buds, others munching sweet fruit. Ankylosaurus might crack nuts with its beak. Perhaps some clever troodontid even bruises fruit with its teeth. The plants are playing an evolutionary bribe. Eat this sweet snack, and I'll give your offspring a new stomping ground. For us, this world seems full of color and food. But if you were a dinosaur from 66 million years ago, would you even recognize your home? What new alliances and battles will sprout in this greener world? Now let's turn from imagination to the real world, to the ground beneath our feet, where paleontologists uncover Earth's secrets. Picture a dig site at Hell Creek, where layers of clay preserve millions of years. A paleontologist kneels in damp earth, the smell of sediment and bone dust hanging in the air. They carefully brush layers of matrix from a fossilized limb protruding from the ground. Nearby, technicians in a lab tap gently at blocks of rock, extracting fragments of skulls and limbs. Each fragment of bone carries stories. A tyrannosaur tooth ripped through ribs, a hadrosaur vertebra twisted by a fall. In the lab, a scientist examines insects frozen in amber, mosquitoes and flies fossilized mid-flight, tiny spiders spun forever in golden resin. The faint tang of chemicals from preservatives mingles with the musty scent of rock dust. The sounds of discovery fill the air. A trowel scraping rock, a hammer chipping shale, excited voices as bones emerge. Every fossil is a page in Earth's history, waiting to be read. As scientists piece together skeletons and ecosystems, they answer ancient puzzles. In this alternate world, what clues would the stones still hold? If the asteroid had missed, what new wonders would be pressed in stone for us to unearth? Every discovery is a doorway to the past. And what if, in a world where the rock never hit, a new kind of dinosaur awaits discovery in the muddy earth? What would it tell us? Beneath the waves of the late Cretaceous oceans, a whole different world thrived. Here, dinosaurs had no sway. Instead, giant marine reptiles ruled. Picture yourself underwater in a glass-domed submersible, surrounded by deep blue-green light. All around, schools of fish and ancient sharks glide by. Spiral-shelled ammonites swim past, and fields of coral reefs bustle with life. In this world lived creatures unlike anything now. A mosasaur as long as a bus prowls like a submarine, jaws wide enough to swallow a person. A plesiosaur, long-necked and flippered, sweeps silently through the water. Enormous sea turtles bob at the surface. On the day of our alternate impact, the ocean quakes. A tsunami scours the coasts, but marine life deeper down has a fighting chance. Clouds of marine invertebrates briefly darken the water, but currents clear them in months. The seas might stay more vibrant here than on land. The deep sea ecosystems were as complex and alive as any forest. Even now we find their fossils in chalk cliffs and marine sediments, mosasaur jaws on rocky beaches, plesiosaur ribs in sea cliffs. Could the patterns in those bones reveal how life rebounded? What secrets do these ancient oceans hold? Imagine an African savanna, but time-traveled 66 million years. Herds of dinosaurs on the move. In this world, great migrations were as common as birds flying south. Picture lines of hadrosaurs stretching over the horizon, dust clouds blotting out the sun as they thunder toward distant feeding grounds. A river crossing unfolds. A herd of duck-billed dinosaurs wading through torrential waters, their reflexes honed by millions of years of instinct. Behind them, small predators dart around the edges, hoping for a chance to snatch a calf or a fallen prey. On the banks, large carnivores like Dakota Raptor lurk, waiting for weakness or stragglers. Lightning cracks overhead from a dark sky as torrential rain begins. The river swells. Some dinosaurs turn back, others press on. This was nature's gauntlet. Every migration, a drama of survival. We see the traces of these journeys in fossil trackways, like books written in stone. Impressions of feet from tyrannosaurs and hadrosaurs overlap in tangled passages, marking each dramatic crossing. Even pterosaurs sailed above on thermal updrafts, perhaps guiding flocks or scouting. In our alternate history, would these journeys look any different? Would dinosaurs still traverse continents unaffected by the impact? Or would new patterns and dangers emerge along the way? What dramas played out along these ancient migration routes? Even the smallest creatures had their stories to tell. Imagine holding a drop of Cretaceous amber in your hand, golden and translucent. Inside is captured a tiny world, a fly frozen mid-flight, a beetle clutching a pollen grain, or a mosquito swollen with dinosaur blood. It's like peering through a time-lapse window at an ordinary creature, paused forever. Under a microscope, you see details invisible to the naked eye. The hairs on an ant's legs, an ancient pollen grain stuck to its body, the cellular spiral of a fern frond. Insects and spiders preserved in amber are living relics of those forests, each one a micro-time capsule. Even feathers and skin have been found trapped in this golden resin. The colors and patterns sometimes emerge perfectly. A bright pollen grain, pine resin that still smells, fern spores floating as if caught mid-breeze. Every inch of amber can hold a fact of that ancient ecosystem. A predator and its prey frozen together, or the first evidence of an early fruit. In our alternate timeline, what might these capsules contain? Perhaps a future paleontologist might pry open a shard and find an insect carrying pollen from a flower that would never evolve in our story. What ancient details could still be trapped in this golden glass? For example, what if a scientist found a newborn dinosaur's feather or a tiny early mammal hair in amber? Could these microscopic treasures rewrite our understanding of that ancient world? What ancient details could still be trapped in this golden glass? What might the future hold for these dinosaurs? Given another 66 million years, could they evolve in ways we never imagined? For instance, think of Troodontids, already among the smartest dinosaurs, maybe growing larger or more cunning, filling roles similar to those of modern primates or wolves. Maybe pterosaurs would diversify into species rivaling small airplanes, or hadrosaurs become new kinds of long-necked grazers, beyond any modern analog. Could some dinosaur lineages even develop traits like mammals? Perhaps descendants of large herbivores would stand fully upright, or some carnivore species might hunt in organized packs like wolves. In the seas, new giant reptiles might emerge, maybe even shaping themselves into whale-like forms without needing whale ancestry. Evolution could surprise us. Given endless time and stable ecosystems, Dinosaurs might invent arms for flightless forms. The first intelligent dinosaur might arise. Or apex predators, unlike anything today, might dominate. In this alternate saga, how different would our world look today if dinosaurs simply kept ruling? And then there's us. If dinosaurs had never gone extinct, what would that mean for humanity? Our entire lineage of primates developed long after the dinosaurs were gone. In a world still ruled by dinosaurs, it's unlikely that human-like ancestors would have had the open stage to evolve. Our own story depends on that ancient catastrophe. Imagine trying to share a planet with creatures like T-Rex as Triceratops as dominant species. Would we even exist? Or would our lineage have been snuffed out like so many others? Perhaps the intellectual spark that led to humanity would never have ignited. But even if some human-like creature did arise, its history would be unimaginably different. The sights, sounds, and dangers around us would be stranger. A world where every shadow could hide a giant. For good or ill, in this deeply altered story, our place on this earth would be precarious, to say the least. Where would humanity stand in a world still ruled by dinosaurs? That is the final, haunting question. Imagine stepping into a lush jungle and spotting a small dinosaur up in the canopy, plucking a ripe fruit with delicate claws. It's a bizarre scene, as if we've put a dinosaur at a salad bar. This isn't an absurd cartoon moment, but a glimpse of our alternate history. After the mass extinction, fruiting trees exploded across the land. In our world, primates would feast on this bounty. But here, the diners were dinosaurs. The stars at the dinner table are the Maniraptoran theropods, agile cousins of Tyrannosaurus, like dromaeosaurs, Troodontids, kin. They already had the perfect tools. 3 clawed fingers to grasp branches and berries, forward-facing eyes for depth perception, and bodies light enough to clamber through the foliage. Some even sported toothless beaks, ideal for biting into tough-skinned fruit. We can almost see one snatching a juicy berry, a raptor playing monkey under a canopy of blossoms. It's a wild thought. Could these fruit-snatching raptors have become the forest's new rulers instead of our mammalian ancestors? The air is thick and sweet with the scent of blooming flowers and rotting fruit, and every leaf shivers with life as insects buzz about. Shiny fruits hang like baubles from branches, attracting every hungry mouth. Here, a small Maniraptoran, think of a tiny Deinonychus or a bird-like Sauronitholestes, dashing through the branches, can find more fruit than a single family of monkeys. It moves with practiced ease, using its grasping hands to hold on to branches as it plucks a ripe fig or mango. Can find more fruit than a single family of monkeys. It moves with practiced ease, using its grasping hands to hold on to branches as it plucks a ripe fig or mango. Sunbeams slice through the canopy in golden shafts. Nothing in this scene is clumsier or more ungainly than a hungry parrot. In fact, these feathered hunters and their kin have almost the same setup as tree-living primates. Their hands might grasp like ours, their eyes peer out from under brows, and their stomachs are ready for plant sugars instead of protein. Tiny insects flit through the dappled light, and the ground below is carpeted with ferns and decaying leaves. Fast forward 10 million years into this alternate world, and you might meet a creature that looks like a monkey-bird hybrid from a cartoon. It is about the size of a howler monkey, with a coat of bright, decorative feathers that keep it warm can't help it stand out. Its hands still have 3 clawed fingers like its dinosaur ancestors, but now they're so nimble. It could probably open a jar or play a simple instrument if it had to. Its beak is grown into a gentle hook, perfect for tearing tough-skinned fruit open without so much as a rusty pocket knife. In the treetops of the flowering forest, this animal leaps from branch to branch, plucking mangoes and berries. Imagine it tossing a berry in the air and catching it, a dexterous raptor juggling fruit. There's not a primate in sight. This scene is speculative, of course. We can't know exactly what evolution would have made, but it's grounded in real traits we already see: grasping hands, keen eyes, and beaks that snack on plants. The flowering trees would reward any creature that could reach their bounty. And in this timeline, these little dinosaur cousins of birds are winning the race. They're just speculation, real possibilities born from known trends. These creatures would also likely develop surprising new behaviors. Some Maniraptorans might evolve complex social groups, coordinating treetop raids on fruit trees or defending groves from competitors. Imagine a flock of these dinosaurs calling to each other with bird-like cries when they find a fruiting tree, or even passing bites to their mates or offspring. In fact, the bright feathers on their heads and tails could evolve into elaborate displays, not unlike birds of paradise, to attract partners while feasting on figs. They might even learn to use primitive tools, poking sticks into termite mounds to extract insects, just as we see in some modern birds. These early fruit feeders could become quite intelligent, a splash of avian smarts in the dinosaur lineage. In short, this new fruit-rich world might breed a whole suite of adaptations we normally associate with monkeys and birds alike. What wonders might these forest acrobats evolve into next? On the forest floor, the herbivore dynasties keep evolving. Picture a duck-billed hadrosaur continually grazing in these woods, chewing foliage. Imagine one of these giants at a prehistoric salad bar, piling its plate with more plants than any waiter could carry. Inside its cheeks, hundreds of teeth replace themselves endlessly, creating a grinding mill unmatched by any mammal. As flowering plants spread, the hadrosaurs would just change their menu. One species might nibble on soft fruits and flowers in the undergrowth village. Another could strip bark and twigs to survive in drier patches. Evolution never stands still, and the hadrosaurs would diversify in dozens of directions. Some could become massive and brawny, rivaling the largest land mammals of our world. Others might become smaller and quicker, chasing new habitats or novel foods. And the horned ceratopsians would continue to fan out in all sorts of forms. By the late Cretaceous, they already came in dozens of sizes, with wild horns and frills. 10 million more years would mean even more variety. We might have seen 40-foot-long ceratopsians bristling with horns and broad frills, flourishing where rhinoceros-sized beasts later roamed, or smaller, lightweight horned dinosaurs darting through the underbrush with agility. Even the enormous long-necked sauropods would have kept going. As long as forests stayed tall, these giants still had their place. Stripping canopy leaves no other herbivore could reach. So the world of 10 million years after our extinction still looks Mesozoic, but subtly changed. New species, new forms, all quietly testing life's possibilities in a warm world. Which of these forest giants or clever grazers would turn out to be the real champions of this age? Scrap to a dinosaur popping forward 10 million years in time, the world would feel strangely familiar. Scrap, forest still blanket the land, air thick with humidity. Basically a bigger, wild greenhouse. Scrap. You step out and see a ceratopsian munching leaves. Scrap. A sauropod stretching its neck to the tallest canopy. Scrap. The overall scene, green, steamy, alive, would not faze them at all. Scrap. New species might turn old heads, but nothing seems fundamentally wrong. Scrap. Life is thriving. Every niche has a dinosaur or bird filling it. Scrap. For now, the comfortable status quo continues, but far below, subtle changes are accumulating. Scrap. India has already begun crashing into Asia, folding up new mountains. Scrap. Drawing carbon from the atmosphere. Antarctica is edging toward the pole. Scrap. These slow motions don't threaten a thriving rainforest at first. Scrap. But over millions of years, they will begin to fracture this warm paradise. Scrap. For now, the dinosaurs dominate the land. But this calm exists under an uneasy peace. Scrap. And over countless generations, it will give way to a very different world. Scrap. What force could possibly end this reign of dinosaurs? Scrap. Think about the problem from a physiological perspective. Mammals are endotherms. Scrap. They generate their own body heat internally, scrap, and work hard to maintain a constant internal temperature, usually around 37 degrees Celsius. Scrap. This is metabolically expensive and requires sophisticated cooling mechanisms. Scrap. Sweating, panting, seeking shade, restricting activity to cooler times. Scrap. When ambient temperatures approach or exceed body temperature, these mechanisms become less effective. Scrap. A mammal in extreme heat is essentially cooking from the inside out. Scrap. Dinosaurs might have been better equipped. The largest of them were probably gigantotherms. Scrap. Their sheer mass meant that their body temperature remained relatively stable, regardless of external conditions. Scrap. Like a massive water tank that takes hours to warm up or cool down. Scrap. They didn't need to generate as much metabolic heat as mammals. Scrap, because they could absorb heat from the environment during the day and release it slowly at night. Scrap. And because they didn't maintain the high, constant temperatures that mammals require. Scrap. They weren't as vulnerable to overheating. Scrap. The smaller dinosaurs had advantages too. Many of them were feathered. Scrap. And feathers are remarkably versatile insulators. Scrap. They could be fluffed up to trap warm air in cold conditions. Scrap. Or sleeked down to allow heat dissipation in hot conditions. Scrap. The same coats that helped dinosaurs survive ancient winters would have helped them endure equatorial summers. Scrap. In effect, a dinosaur in this heat is basically a bird. Scrap. Ducking between sun and shade and adjusting its feathers like an on-the-fly jacket. Scrap. While many mammals shrank or sought shade, scrap. Our alternate world dinosaurs might handle this furnace more gracefully. Scrap. But still, how hot is too hot for these giants? But the oceans tell a different tale. Scrap. Imagine diving beneath the Eocene seas and encountering creatures straight out of a Jurassic postcard. Scrap. The Mosasaurs, 15-meter-long sea lizards with powerful jaws and paddle-like limbs rule the reefs and shallows. Scrap. In our world, these creatures died at the end of the Cretaceous, but here, they never went away. Scrap. They continue to evolve. Some mosasaurs might become even sleeker and faster. Scrap. Built for chasing fish and squid. Scrap. Others could grow into even larger leviathans, prowling the warm seas as true apex predators. Scrap. In these waters, a sea the size of the modern Atlantic has massive hunting lizards. Scrap. Instead of whales and dolphins. Scrap. Underwater. Imagine a coral reef where a mosasaur family hunts together. They herd fish into tight schools, even cooperating in a way seen in pods of orcas. One giant mosasaur could fill the role of an orca, commanding respect from all sea life. Whales and dolphins never evolve in this timeline. Their niches are already taken. And the plesiosaurs, those odd swimmers with long necks and flippers, are still out there too. Imagine a sleek plesiosaur gliding through the water, its long neck darting through schools of fish, or a smaller plesiosaur pushing through the coral undergrowth, snapping up prey with its beak-like snout. Each marine niche we know, from filter feeders to top predators, is now occupied by reptilian relatives. Instead of whale songs, you'd hear the swish of giant tails and the crack of reptilian jaws. The diversity would be astonishing. Some mosasaurs could fill niches similar to baleen whales, filter feeding on plankton, while others behave like seals or sharks. Coral reefs might host busy ecosystems of fish and reptiles. Great mosasaurs might even hunt in coordinated packs, encircling a school of fish at dusk in a strategy similar to an orcapod's. Each swish of a tail and clash of teeth rewrites the oceanic food web. In this alternate world, the skies are packed too. Imagine gazing up and seeing a pterosaur the size of a small airplane, gracefully banking above tropical seas. In our timeline, pterosaurs vanished, but here, they keep flying. Early Eocene coasts and islands become filled with these flying reptiles. Some have wingspans as big as gliders, many with crests and beaks like living kites. Close to shore, you might spot a smaller pterosaur gliding like a seabird, picking fish from the water with a long snout the size of a man's arm. On the cliffs, colonies of pterosaurs nest like modern seabirds, chattering and flapping their leathery wings. Below, the ocean teems with life for them to hunt. Above, no corner of sky is safe from a pterosaur on the lookout. The air is shared between true birds and these ancient flyers, two very different dinosaur lineages. Coastal fishing villages would look out to see pterosaurs cruising like hang gliders at sunset. Some might be giant as trucks, others small as gulls, all with pterygoid wings. They dive into the water for fish with pinpoint accuracy. Imagine a creature with a man-sized beak plumbing the waves below. Others catch insects in midair or patrol rainforests, claws hooked on branches. On migratory paths, flocks of these dinosaurs might stretch for miles. It's a crossover between eras, and everything from fishing strategies to flight patterns could shift. What kind of evolutionary arms race happens when two very different flyers share the sky? By around 50 million years after the dinosaurs should have gone extinct, it might seem as if they've become the Earth's new normal. These creatures have filled the planet completely. In every continent's lush forests and open plains, you would see dinosaur herds, grazing, hunting, and migrating. They're in the air, on land, and in the sea. Imagine a dinosaur safari. Flocks of small, feathered dinosaurs dart in the underbrush, towering sauropods striding through the woods, and horned ceratopsians parading across the meadows. Pterosaurs glide overhead, and great mosasaurs lurk offshore. It would look as if the world had somehow rewound to a late Cretaceous day, just warmer and a bit quirkier. To a local observer, dinosaurs would be as permanent as mountains or rivers, nature's default setting. It may appear that nothing can stop them now, but nature has bigger plans. Beneath their feet, continents are slowly shifting. India has already begun crashing into Asia, folding up new mountains, drawing carbon from the atmosphere. Antarctica is edging toward the pole. These slow motions don't threaten a thriving rainforest at first, but over millions of years, they will begin to fracture this warm paradise. For now, the dinosaurs dominate the land. But this calm exists under an uneasy peace, and over countless generations, it will give way to a very different world. What force could possibly end this reign of dinosaurs? This warm age, however, cannot last forever. Around 34 million years ago, Earth begins a long, slow slide into cold. A new continental alignment sends Antarctica toward the pole. The Drake Passage opens, ocean currents reroute, and for the first time, a permanent ice sheet starts to grow. Glaciers creep onto the land. Global temperatures drop by several degrees as carbon dioxide slowly spills out of the air. Polar winters get bitter. Mighty forest giants start to retreat toward the equator, leaving behind new landscapes of woodlands and plains. For dinosaurs that have only ever known summer, this is something entirely new. They've been kings of a greenhouse world since the Triassic, but now the planet is turning into a place with true winter. Snow begins to fall in regions that once hosted palm trees and ferns. It's no longer just a rainy night. It's real winter darkness and cold. Down from the polar tropics, new woods and grasslands spread over continents. Sea levels fall as water locks in ice, reshaping coastlines. In this new world, days can be truly dark and cold. In our timeline, animals that couldn't cope with cold died out or changed. In theirs, the question is, what dinosaurs will do next? Some smaller dinosaurs might try to hide out. Perhaps one species even enters a hibernation-like state to wait out the worst cold. Others might simply follow the sun, migrating toward the tropics as snow lines descend. Still, it's uncharted territory. These kings of the greenhouse have never been tested by ice. For them, this could be a turning point. Adapt, die out, or find new strategies no one saw coming. What does the future hold for these ancient survivors? This isn't just theoretical. We now know dinosaurs already lived through freezing polar winters. These were not migrating visitors. They were year-round residents in a land of midnight sun and polar night. Millions of years before birds took flight, many dinosaurs were already covered in fur-like plumage. They trap warmth close to the body, like an invisible sleeping bag on a winter night. With thick coats of down and quills, dinosaurs could stay active when daylight vanished and temperatures dropped drastically. Alaskan hadrosaurs, like Edmontosaurus, even show skin impressions, hinting at fuzzy covering. Imagine a mid-sized raptor, 2 meters long, moving through snow with a full winter coat, picking its way among ferns and lichen. Dinosaurs could shrug off cold the way a woolly mammal does, tucking their down into tight balls for warmth. These adaptations mean that in our alternate world, as temperatures fall, These feathered creatures have an edge. One can imagine a family of feathered predators retreating to dens or hollows to wait out the long cold, much as bears do today. When spring finally returns, after months of darkness, they step out under the summer sun as if nothing happened. In their world, winter has become just another season to endure. Until now. How far could their adaptations carry them in this freezing test? Grass is almost unkillable in open ecosystems. It's the plant equivalent of a hydra. At the same time, grass incorporates silica into its tissues, making each blade like tiny glass. Any dinosaur trying to eat grass is essentially chewing on sandpaper, wearing down its teeth with every bite. This forces herbivores to evolve new solutions. In our world, grazing mammals evolved high-crowned, ever-growing teeth to handle the abrasion. Dinosaurs would face the same pressure. Their teeth would wear down quickly on a grassy diet. Some might evolve even tougher dental batteries. Others stick to browsing taller bushes. Grasslands quickly replace marginal woodlands. Any area too dry for trees becomes a sea of grass and brush. Open landscapes come with another twist: fire. Dry grasses burn easily, so seasonal fires would sweep across plains, charring woodlands and giving grass another edge over trees. Both fire and grass push forests back even more. Meanwhile, the story would keep unfolding. Even after grass takes over, the Earth doesn't stop changing. Imagine another few million years passing. Continents continue drifting, climates keep shifting. New challenges would emerge. For instance, if a part of a supercontinent broke apart, isolated dinosaur populations could become very strange. We might see island relatives of Triceratops, the size of rhinoceroses, or dwarf sauropods only a few meters long. Volcanic eruptions could plunge the world into temporary darkness or trigger local extinctions. Perhaps a renewed rise in temperatures would transform frozen poles back into jungles, prompting another wave of migration. Insects and small animals could specialize too. Maybe something like giant beaver-like mammals or burrowing reptiles come and go. No rule says only dinosaurs will thrive. Eventually, even in our alternative history, something new could dominate. Perhaps the flightless avian theropods, or even an opportunistic mammal group. After all, Earth's biota is a revolving door. On a planet constantly reshaped, every chapter raises new questions. If not the dinosaurs, then who will rule next? And if not now, when will the next upset come? For now, this alternate saga remains an open book. Only the fossils can reveal the next twist. Only time will tell what the next chapter will hold. Consider the ceratopsians, the horned dinosaurs that once dominated forest glades. In the woods, they were browsers, using parrot-like beaks to crop soft vegetation and shearing teeth to process it. Consider the ceratopsians, the horned dinosaurs that once dominated forest glades. In the woods, they were browsers, using parrot-like beaks to crop soft vegetation and shearing teeth to process it. But on these grasslands, those teeth are a problem. The silica grit in grass acts like sandpaper. Chopping the turf would grind dinosaur teeth into useless stumps in no time. But on these grasslands, those teeth are a problem. The silica grit in grass acts like sandpaper. Chomping the turf would grind dinosaur teeth into useless stumps in no time. An ordinary triceratops biting grass would soon find itself eating nothing. Only the horned dinosaurs that evolved around this problem would thrive. An ordinary triceratops biting grass would soon find itself eating nothing. Only the horned dinosaurs that evolved around this problem would thrive. One solution is ever-growing teeth. Think of a horse or a giant rodent. Their teeth keep growing, so constant grinding doesn't wear them down. Some hadrosaurs already hint at this capability. Their mouths were conveyor belts of fresh teeth, always moving up to replace worn ones. Some hadrosaurs already hint at this capability. Their mouths were conveyor belts of fresh teeth, always moving up to replace worn ones. Picture a horned grazer with that gift. A jaw like a beaver's, endlessly growing teeth that wear down and renew as fast as you bite. This ceratopsian could mow down grass all day, dentures on perpetual restocking. Perhaps entire herds would graze continuously in shifts, teeth snapping like shears on endless hedge. This ceratopsian could mow down grass all day, dentures on perpetual restocking. Perhaps entire herds would graze continuously in shifts, teeth snapping like shears on endless hedge. But what other strange solutions might evolution invent for these grassy plains? Now imagine a descendant of Triceratops after 20 million years on the grasslands. It would still be clearly a horned dinosaur. Evolution rarely throws away a successful blueprint, but its shape would shift. It would still be clearly a horned dinosaur. Evolution rarely throws away a successful blueprint, but its shape would shift. Its head is longer and hangs closer to the ground, built for grazing rather than browsing treetops. The beak is wide and squared, a broad shovel for cutting grass in swaths. Its head is longer and hangs closer to the ground, built for grazing rather than browsing treetops. The beak is wide and squared, a broad shovel for cutting grass in swaths. Its elaborate neck frill is much reduced. In this world, the energy goes into massive jaw muscles instead of display. This grassland ceratopsian moves in herds, hundreds strong, a tidal wave of horned bodies rolling across the plain like wildebeest at the Serengeti. When they move together, the ground shakes and the sunlight glitters off their synchronized horn tips. They lower their heads in unison, ripping up the grass in rhythmic sweeps that send dust clouds swirling skyward. When they move together, the ground shakes and the sunlight glitters off their synchronized horn tips. They lower their heads in unison, ripping up the grass in rhythmic sweeps that send dust clouds swirling skyward. A living storm of beasts. It is as if each one is a boulder rolling forward. It's a scene both majestic and surreal. Dozens of giant armored dinosaurs behaving like bovines. Could a pride of lions or any predator ever dare take on that moving fortress? A living storm of beasts. It is as if each one is a boulder rolling forward. It's a scene both majestic and surreal. Dozens of giant armored dinosaurs behaving like bovines. Could a pride of lions or any predator ever dare take on that moving fortress? Out on a plain like this, a lone dinosaur is in constant danger. Here, nowhere to hide. In the forests, a beast can melt into shadows. On an open plain, your size only makes you more visible. Out on a plain like this, a lone dinosaur is in constant danger. Here, nowhere to hide. In the forests, a beast can melt into shadows. On an open plain, your size only makes you more visible. A solitary ceratopsian quietly grazing among the grass is a sitting target. The wind can carry its scent for kilometers. even a small rustle by the grass might betray its location. The only real protection is the herd. A solitary ceratopsian, quietly grazing among the grass, is a sitting target. The wind can carry its scent for kilometers. Even a small rustle by the grass might betray its location. The only real protection is the herd. 1,000 eyes scanning in all directions can spot the steadiest ambush. Herds must act like vigilant armies. Each dinosaur often takes turns watching while others eat. If one alarm calls, the entire group bolts away at once. The ground thunders under their feet, and dust explodes into the air like a miniature desert storm. The coordinated flight would make even zebras look disorganized. If one alarm calls, the entire group bolts away at once. The ground thunders under their feet, and dust explodes into the air like a miniature desert storm. The coordinated flight would make even zebras look disorganized. If one alarm calls, the entire group bolts away at once. The ground thunders under their feet, and dust explodes into the air like a miniature desert storm. The coordinated flight would make even zebras look disorganized. A lone dinosaur without those eyes has almost no chance. Numbers and vigilance become a living fortress. What predator could breach such defenses? Or would it be the dinosaurs who end up setting the ambush? Not all grassland animals here would wear armor. The ornithomimids, the ostrich dinosaurs, are practically built for open country. Long legs, light frames, and eyes on stalks made them sprint champions of the Cretaceous. On the Miocene plains, they'd be the antelope of their time. Picture a stampede of these feathered runners. Dozens of slender dinosaurs racing over the tall grass, legs thrumming like pistons. Their long necks are craned high, scanning the horizon. They nibble grass seeds, small plants, even insects or small lizards they find. When one detects a predator, they break into full sprint, each individual reaching speeds of perhaps 50 kilometers per hour or more. Dust kicks up in their wake, a whirling golden cloud. They would make modern thoroughbreds look slow, like prehistoric horses at full gallop. But imagine, what predator could catch one of these on a straight run if dozens are already gaining ground at unbelievable speed? What about the heavyweights? The hadrosaurs, or duck-billed dinosaurs, are here too. Nature's own lawnmowers. Their jaws hold hundreds of interlocking teeth, the best plant processing machinery ever. They crunch leaves and stems like a pair of gigantic industrial blenders. If any dinosaur came prepared for the grass, it's these giants. On the plains, they could graze like herds of cows, easily keeping up with the rough forage. But perhaps no single herbivore would monopolize the grass. Instead, different groups of dinosaurs might share the banquet. Imagine a Serengeti filled with dinosaur diversity. One species sweeps up the shortest grass, another the mid-level sprouts. Another uses those thousands of teeth to chew everything in between. It's like a buffet with each diner having a preferred dish. Would one kind of dinosaur claim the banquet all for itself? Or would they share the grassland buffet among many specialists? The entire ecosystem has been reshaped. The old forest stage has given way to an endless theater of grass. Imagine the woodland curtains parting to reveal great waves of gold stretching to the horizon. The dinosaurs who spent 150 million years in the shade of trees now get perhaps 20 million years to learn life in the sunlit plains. Seasonal rains still come and go, sweeping the land with fire and storms. But now the actors must play their parts on open ground. In that time, forests rise and fall, continents drift, climates shift. But for this golden era, the savanna reigns. Evolution hands out new roles. Fast herbivores here, pack predators there, each chasing a different dream. What new parts will life write into this great grassland drama, now that the stage has changed so completely? There is one burning question above all. What would hunt these great herds? In the Cretaceous, Tyrannosaurus rex was the undisputed king of predators. Envision it. 12 meters long, 6 tons of muscle, jaws that could crunch bone like cookies. In a forest, T-Rex could blend into shadow and then explode on prey, ambushing giant animals before they even knew it was there. It was the top of the chain, a terror on 4 legs, but on open plains, that old strategy fails. A giant predator has no place to hide. Everywhere it goes, prey see it coming. By the time a T-Rex closes the distance, its quarry is already sprinting to safety. It would be like watching a heavyweight boxer try to ambush someone in an open field. Pointless. Would raw power alone keep the tyrant on top in this world? Or would even King Rex have to learn new moves? The tyrant must adapt. A tyranny of massive jaws and bursts of power is less useful here. It's like asking a sumo wrestler to become a marathon runner. Over generations, natural selection would favor tyrannosaurs that stay light and fast. Their legs would lengthen, bodies slim down, and heads could shrink a bit to balance better in a sprint. Imagine a Tyrannosaurus on a strict diet and exercise regime, shedding bulk until it becomes almost a different creature. Even so, speed only solves part of the problem. The largest prey still travel in groups. Even a fast predator cannot easily take down a big herd by itself. This is why many mammals turned to teamwork. Could the mighty, muscle-bound predator learn to hunt in a new way? Or would it be forced to step aside? Cooperation might be key. In our world, wolves, lions, and wild dogs show us that hunting in packs can take down much bigger and more dangerous game. Could tyrannosaurs do the same? The fossil record gives hints. A few bone beds have been found with multiple adults of the same species, and trackways sometimes show several large footprints moving together, but the evidence is still debated. Nature gives us clues. On open grasslands, any predator that fails to work with others often ends in failure. Imagine a Tyrannosaurus trying to chase a charging Triceratops by itself. The tyrant would tire long before the prey. Over millions of years, natural selection would reward any tyrannosaur that could communicate and coordinate. Could the legendary T-Rex learn to hunt like a pride of lions, turning sheer might into a team effort? Picture a hunt at dawn on the dinosaur savanna. A pack of 6 Tyrannosaurs, each one maybe 2/3 the length of the old giants, but balanced and lean, stalks through tall grass. The rising sun glints on their scaled hides. They fan out in silence. Each knows a role. In the distance, a herd of ceratopsians grazes, unaware of the danger shaping around them. One Tyrannosaurus slips to the left of the herd, another to the right, 2 in the center and 2 hanging back. They move like chess pieces, fanning out to cut off any escape. The tension is electric. When the ambush begins, it's not a single charge, but a coordinated strike from multiple sides. A horned dinosaur takes a hit, but another Tyrannosaurus is ready to snatch it away. The chaos of the attack looks almost like a dance. Dinosaurs in pursuit, circling their prey. Strategy, timing, speed. It becomes as much a brain game as a brawn contest. It's like a prehistoric version of wild dogs herding a kill. Can you imagine how terrifying and exciting that would be to witness? Meanwhile, smaller predators carve their own niches. The dromaeosaurids, the classic raptor dinosaurs, are already pre-adapted for this new world. Slim, feathered, and viciously armed with those famous sickle claws, they had been small pack hunters in the Cretaceous. On the Miocene plains, picture their lineages diversifying like canids in Africa. Imagine 20 or 30 of these swift hunters working together. They'd hunt more by persistence than by ambush, wearing down a single target until it falters. When one raptor starts sprinting, others kick into gear and chase from behind. They might even take turns leading, as modern wild dogs do, sharing the exhaustion. Eventually, the prey tires, and then those claws and teeth finish the job. Dromaeosaurid packs could be the unbeatable long-distance runners of this world. A raptor turning sprint after sprint, feathered coaches of the chase. What if your foe was this many agile eyes and claws? It would be like facing 100 hungry missiles. Perhaps they'd treat the open savanna like a hunting game of tag. Would their shrieks and calls be the new echo of the plains? And don't forget the Troodontids, the dinosaurs that looked like feathered Elvis on legs. These small theropods were about the size of a big turkey, but had brains as big as a hawk's. They are often called the smartest dinosaurs. In a land where thinking predators are rewarded, Troodontids would likely shine. They might hunt small mammals or insects by day and join forces at night. Picture one Troodontid scout. It stands on hind legs like a meerkat, eyes scanning the grass for tiny critters. If it finds a nest of lizard eggs or a field mouse, it pounces with astonishing speed. Or perhaps it plays the lookout, giving early warning to larger predator packs. With brains like that, they might even develop complex social behaviors, more than any reptile before. We can only guess, but maybe the Troodontids become something like the crows of the Cretaceous, curious, cunning, and surprisingly social. If any creature could outthink its prey, it's these. Could a dinosaur ever solve problems like we do? Or is that destined only for mammals? So here is our vision. A Miocene savanna ruled by dinosaurs. At the top, slim Tyrannosaurus packs coordinate their hunt, no longer solitary beasts. In the middle, packs of raptor dinosaurs sprint in dizzying swarms after the weary. At the smallest scale, Troodontids dart and scheme among insects and fallen fruit. The age of the lone tyrant ends, giving way to cooperation, cunning, and speed. Predators in this world win by teamwork and smarts as much as by teeth. Every hunter is adapted for life in the open, but adapted differently. It's a complex tapestry of survival, each dinosaur playing a new role. The framework of this world is as intricate as a coral reef. If one species tries something new, others must respond in kind. In this fierce new ecosystem, one cannot help but wonder, if dinosaurs could adapt so well, what else might they do with more time? Gee, could they ever reach toward true intelligence, the way mammals did? Imagine this long timeline stretching on. Could dinosaurs ever evolve minds like ours? Gee, in 1982, Canadian paleontologist Dale Russell speculated about exactly this. He looked at Troodon, a brainy little dinosaur, and asked, what if it kept evolving? Russell drew a creature called the Dinosauroid, upright, with forward eyes and delicate hands. Basically a dinosaur turned human. His sculpture even had a humanoid face and brain case, an alien gray man in feathers, sitting in a chair. The idea was both fascinating and unsettling. Given 50 or 100 more million years, could there have been a dinosaur species wondering about the future? Gee, could one of these creatures have ever invented tools or art? Russell's vision is not science fact, just a thought experiment, but it captures how unpredictable evolution can be. Most scientists say intelligence doesn't demand a human form. Gee, free hands might stay wings or evolve differently, and big brains could support a very alien body. Still, the thought of a dinosauroid makes us ask, is intelligence an inevitable outcome of evolution or a fluke of history? If evolution had gone another way, could an actual dinosaur have pondered its own existence? We step out of the imagined savanna and back into our own time. But the questions remain. The scent of dry grass still hangs in the air, and the echo of distant thundering feet lingers in our minds. In those echoes of another world, do we glimpse new paths that life could take? Or simply see our own history reflected back in a different mirror? Under the open sky of grass and stars, who can say what stories those dinosaurs might have told, or what futures they might have seen? Imagine waking up to the ripple of waves as a crow coolly flips a stone on a beach and finds a hidden snack underneath. Nearby, a parrot fiddles with a mirror, puzzling out its own reflection as if checking its hairdo. These aren't cartoon characters. They're some of the smartest creatures alive. A raven can bend a twig into a hook to fish out insects. A gray parrot solves sliding puzzles and understands cause and effect like a curious child. They look nothing like us. Feathered bodies, beaks, wings, yet their minds solve problems we can barely imagine. Half a world away, an octopus in a kelp forest is busy doing its homework in a tank. It unscrews jars and opens boxes, 8 arms adjusting experiment pieces. When a puzzle gets tricky, it puffs and squirts jets of water in frustration, then changes color from bright orange to midnight blue in an instant. Imagine it as the eccentric genius of the sea. No bones, just a squishy suit and an alien intelligence. Scientists often find themselves staring back at these animals in mud or labs, truly surprised by the spark of understanding in a bird's eye or octopus's gaze. It's almost as if they're taking evolution's final exam in survival, acing it with ease. If evolution can spin intelligence from feathery bodies or those wiggly octopus limbs, who's to say what it might have done with dinosaurs, given another 66 million years? Intelligence is not some inevitable endpoint encoded in evolution. It's just another tool, like a claw or a wing, that pops up when it's useful. Evolution isn't plotting anything. It's not like someone sat a Tyrannosaurus down in a classroom to learn algebra. So after 66 more million years, what would a smart dinosaur actually look like? Probably still a dinosaur. Picture a Troodontid from this alternate timeline. A creature about 2 meters long, sleek and bipedal, drifting through open grasslands at dawn. Its posture is horizontal, balanced by a long, stiff tail, forelimbs tipped with grasping claws, and a head full of sharp teeth. Feathers cover its body, not flashy like a parrot's, but a muted gray above and light cream below. Perfect camouflage in dawn light. Its eyes are large and forward-facing for excellent depth perception as it scans the grass. Its 3-fingered hands can grasp and manipulate objects, like the toolkit of a clever scavenger. Imagine it at sunrise. A distant shape moving on 2 legs, so familiar and yet not human at all. In other words, it looks like the dinosaur it is, just upgraded. Nothing about it is human. No standing 2 meters tall or typing science on a keyboard. But its brain case bulges far more than you'd expect. Inside that skull, evolution has turned up the volume on the brain. This isn't science fiction. Troodontids in our time already had the largest brain of any dinosaur by body size. Given millions more years under pressure to cooperate and solve problems, you can imagine that brain getting even bigger and more powerful. How smart could it get after all that time? It hunts in tight-knit packs, 10 to 20 individuals, moving together through the tall grass, each one watching and listening. They flank prey, circle around. Sometimes even one member feigns a broken leg to lure a herd into an ambush. It's a coordinated dance, as if a group of wolves took up acting school to perfect their ambush tactics. They even use simple tools. One grabs a sharpened stick to probe into burrows. Another might kick a rock to crack open a shell. Imagine a troodontid holding a stick in its claw, like a tiny caveman with a spear. Their calls, chirps, whistles, croaks, number in the dozens, each one a word in their own language, warning of danger or signaling food. Young dinosaurs learn by watching their parents and aunts, not just by instinct. They're born into schoolrooms with no walls. In many ways, these smart dinosaurs occupy the same niche as wolves or early humans. They survive by teamwork and intelligence rather than sheer strength. All that cunning is powered by the brain we mentioned, the one whose home is the bulging back of the skull. Yet even so, you won't find any of them inventing skyscrapers or writing poems. They're incredible survivors, but their thinking is practical. Hunting, hiding, social trickery. In other words, they can solve a trap, but not a philosophical puzzle. So where does curiosity fit in their world? On our planet, the recipe for human-level smarts happened only once. Our ancestors were arboreal primates with ready-made advantages, dexterous hands, color vision, and complex social bonds built over millennia. When those tree dwellers spilled out onto the African savanna, they faced a whole new world of predators and scarce food. They had to find berries and roots in unfamiliar places, band together into groups, and develop rich communication about where the next meal might be, or where a lion lurked. Every challenge became brain fuel, so over a few million years, their minds exploded in size and capacity. This chain reaction of social complexity and survival needs never happened in any dinosaur lineage. Try to imagine a troodon with a notebook. It wouldn't think to write equations or sing songs about the moon. It would worry about its next meal. Even bright dinosaurs had different priorities. Hunting and hiding, not stargazing. No dinosaur family ever gathered around campfires to tell stories or pass down knowledge the way our ancestors did. Other continents saw grasslands and big predators too, but no primate was there to develop tools or language like we did. You could have giant-brained mammoths or saber-toothed cats roaming, but none of them started schools or lit fires to cook food. Only our ancestors found the right mix of fire and fellowship to let the mind take off. In the end, is curiosity fated only for primates? Could any other creature ever truly wonder what's out there? Then something changed on a planetary scale. Around 2.5 million years ago, Earth crossed a threshold and the ice ages began. It was as if someone had turned Earth's thermostat to full freeze. Imagine even a Tyrannosaurus wearing a giant down parka. It may look silly, but it would need every bit of insulation to survive this winter world. Ice didn't just melt away after one cold snap. It surged and retreated in long cycles. Glaciers spread from poles into continents, burying Scandinavia and Canada under kilometers of snow and ice. This new era, the Pleistocene, had a rhythm. A glacier would expand for about 100,000 years, then retreat for 10 to 20,000 years, and repeat again and again. Over 20 such pulses reshaped the planet's surface and climates. During each glaciation, ecosystems were pushed toward the equator. When the ice pulled back, forests reclaimed lost ground. Land bridges formed and disappeared, connecting and isolating continents in turn. In short, the world became a giant freezing loom, weaving dramatic changes every time the ice advanced. It was as if Earth's thermostat was stuck on zero. Imagine a long winter night falling on continents that had never known frost. The landscape drained of color under a pale sun. The cold wasn't mild. Winters in the far north plunged to 40 below Celsius, and snow never really melted until spring. Glaciers carved scars across the land, and even sea levels shifted as ice built up and released. For dinosaurs bred in warm forests, these Ice Age conditions were extreme. This was the ultimate stress test for life on Earth. Could any dinosaur meet this challenge and thrive? In our own timeline, the Pleistocene produced iconic giants built for the cold. Woolly mammoths ambled across the tundra, orange-brown fur rising in the breeze, and curved tusks as long as telephone poles. Woolly rhinoceroses plodded like furry tanks, their massive bodies like armored trucks lumbering through snow. Giant ground sloths, the size of elephants, could stand on hind legs to reach leaves high on trees. Cave bears loomed 3 meters tall on hind legs, nostrils flaring steam in the frigid air. Each of these animals was a picture of Pleistocene survival. Thick fur, extra fat, and enough warmth to outlast an Arctic night. They carried massive bodies built to hold heat, each elephantine heft storing winter energy. Fat layers and dense fur were their fashion, nature's version of an all-in-one coat and blanket. By comparison, a modern elephant without its fluff would shiver in these landscapes. Even their ears shrank to stubs to minimize heat loss. These living fortresses of Ice Age survival evolved exactly for this world of freeze. When summer arrived, they shed most of that coat, nature's seasonal wardrobe change. For a mammoth, a snowy day meant a warm fur blanket. For a bear, it meant curtains of hibernation. It's the era of beasts so adapted to ice that even a mammoth's bad hair day could be a weather forecast. But in our alternate timeline, those iconic Ice Age beasts never appear. What takes their place? In that alternate world, there are no mammoths or giant rhinos. Those niches are empty, waiting to be filled. Could dinosaurs become the hoofed kings of the cold, taking the roles we know only from mammals? After all, dinosaurs thrived for 200 million years in a lush greenhouse Earth. Their ancestors had lived through warm forests and mild grasslands, but had never seen a true ice age. This is their ultimate test, a planet turned upside down from everything they knew. 75 million years of rule, undisturbed. And now, suddenly, the thermostat has plunged. Could they turn an ancient forest genius into a snow age champion? If a triceratops could adapt, it might become a snow bison on 2 legs. but only if it figures out how to stay warm and fed. Think of a hadrosaur with insulating down, or a raptor half asleep through the winter. The possibilities are wild. For the dinosaurs, this change would feel like an alien invasion of ice. Every herd member might glance at another and seem to ask, where did summer go? Only those who could innovate their instincts would live to see the next thaw. Could any dinosaur meet this challenge and rise to the occasion? Dinosaurs weren't coming to this challenge empty-handed. Even in the deep Cretaceous, some dinosaurs lived far above the Arctic Circle year-round. Picture camouflaged herbivores stepping through midnight sun and polar night. Feathers evolved long ago in these families, likely as insulation. Think of them as nature's goose down. Millions of years later, their direct descendants, the birds, show how well that system works. From fluffy emperor penguins huddling on Antarctic ice to snowy owls ghosting over Arctic tundra, living dinosaurs thrive in cold. So the tools were there. They just need to ratchet them up. No dinosaur needed to develop fur or fat. They already had feathered coats and built-in winter gear. In fact, dinosaurs may have had the best winter jackets of all. Giant bodies covered in insulating plumage. Surviving the Ice Age might have meant only one thing: become more of what they already were. We even have evidence they tried. Fossilized dinosaur nests above the Arctic Circle tell us some waited out polar nights with eggs in the snow. So a feathered Troodontid might well cope with darkness, shrugging off cold like a duck does water. No dinosaur needed a whole new outfit. They just piled on more of the feathery coat they already had and kept going, because nature had already given them the cold weather tools. Consider the ceratopsians, those big-horned herbivores that once thrived in warmer climates. In the Pleistocene, a ceratopsian could have been a magnificent, almost mammalian sight. Imagine something like Triceratops, but 60 million years of evolution have thickened its body and filled it with fat reserves for winter. Its frill might shrink from ornament to extra armor, thick and sturdy to fight off predators or trap warmth, not just flare. From nose to tail, it's cloaked in dense, downy feathers. Not showy plumes, but the kind of pure winter coat you'd want if you lived in Siberia. This beast might be 8 or 9 meters long, as big as a touring bus, trudging across frozen grasslands in a herd of hundreds. At first glance, it seems almost mammal-like, that shaggy coat and massive bulk. But the silhouette is still unmistakably dinosaur, four-legged, beaked, with horns above the eyes and nose. Its thick neck and hump of muscle store energy to survive the lean months. Facing a herd of these would make a woolly rhino look undersized. You might smell their scent in the wind, a mix of damp earth and animal musk. When it moves, snow crunches underfoot. Clouds of breath puff out with each step. These steps alone announce its presence. It grazes on low, tough vegetation, using its powerful jaws and grinding teeth like a living mill. For perspective, a single one might weigh as much as a school bus. Muscle and fat tuned for the Arctic chill. When deep winter comes, it heads south like a herd of elk, searching for any green tip showing above the snow. But when the ice clings on and winter never ends, who knows how long they can keep going. Hadrosaurs, those duck-billed dinosaurs with giant grinding tooth batteries, would have evolved similar solutions. Their bipedal ancestors gave way to animals moving on all fours most of the time, bodies lower to the ground and wide for stability in snow. Imagine a hadrosaur herd of hundreds, walking through icy marshes on padded feet, each one covered in thick fuzz that hides its exact shape. They're amazing dental batteries, hundreds of interlocking teeth. Let them chew through the tough, fibrous mosses and lichen that could survive under snow. In summer, they might graze on grasses, but in winter, they'd strip bark and eat any low-lying hardy greens they could find. Think of them as the armored station wagons of the Ice Age. Wide bodies, short legs, energy to chew through scrub. Their backs might be covered in spiky proto-feathers or thick down, a built-in winter parka. When hunger pressed, a hadrosaur could dig for roots, eating just like an enormous beaver of the snow. To survive winter storms, they would gather in sheltered valleys like a convoy of tanks, huddling together to stay warm, much like musk oxen do today. Their herds would rumble across plains in low gear, sounding almost like distant snowplows pushing forward. Even with hundreds of teeth and fuzzy coats, with every blizzard, they would face uncertainty. What if the ice never thaws? The predators of this frozen world would have been fearsome indeed. Imagine a Pleistocene tyrannosaur hunting in the snow, descended from the wily pack-hunting lineage of their Miocene ancestors. Only about 5 meters long now, it's smaller than its Cretaceous forebears, but no less terrifying. Its feathers are thick, white, and gray, blending it into blizzard landscapes. A ghost in the snow. You might think of it as a giant wolf with a dino skull, hunting in a coordinated pack to take down prey many times its size. Think of it as a snow ghost, enormous, silent, and deadly. A pack of these dinosaurs would flank and tire out any herd, dragging it down through teamwork. They move with surprising grace for their bulk, like polar wolves on steroids. Even in the longest night, their sharp eyes and cooperative tactics give them an edge over sluggish herbivores. In terms of sheer terror, this is what a tundra nightmare looks like, creeping out of a blizzard, feathers plastered down by ice, eyes glowing with hunger. For Ice Age creatures, these predators were the ultimate hunters, more deadly than any lion or wolf in our world. Faced with starvation, they don't sweat. They hunker down, using body fat like a kid hides under blankets to keep warm. When spring comes, they emerge from lethargy, hungry, and ready to hunt again. Could any creature survive in a world with these hunters on their tail? In that fierce and beautiful world of ice and feathers, the Earth carries on in its ancient cycle, breathtaking yet indifferent. Imagine mountains rising and rivers carving canyons, all without a single soul to sculpt words about it or ponder why. Countless generations of creatures live and die, their fates unrecorded. No caves bear their art, no book holds their names. If nothing thinks it magnificent or terrible, does it even have meaning? Who would witness the grand story of an Earth ruled by dinosaurs, if not the dinosaurs themselves? It's a world that simply is, wild and beautiful and utterly unaware of its own greatness. If a giant storm rages and no one feels the wind, has it any story? If millions of years pass without a witness, does history whisper at all? For whom do the dinosaurs roar if no one hears them? Imagine a Tyrannosaurus rex shivering through an ice storm. Not graceful, is it? In the thick of an ice age, not all dinosaurs could handle the cold. Some would have retreated toward the equator, seeking refuge in warm pockets where winter never fully set in. Earth would have been split into stark climate zones. The tropics became dinosaur safe houses, while the poles turned into alien ice worlds. Those warm refuges, places like South America, Southeast Asia, or Central Africa, might have stayed lush and green. dinosaurs that never needed a winter coat, could carry on much as they always had. Over the icy steppes, though, something new would be emerging. Dinosaurs transformed for a frozen world. These would be cousins of T-Rex and Triceratops, reborn by ice. They might bulk up, growing blubber under their scales, and maybe even developing fur-like feathers, turning into polar super herbivores. Imagine a Triceratops wearing the winter coat of a bison, the crests and horns of these giants dusted with snow, huddling in herds for warmth. Arctic summers would bring enough green grass and moss to feed thousands, but winter would feel endless, darkness and hunger. Even a tyrannosaur might flail and sneeze at snowflakes. Imagine northern lights shimmering above a herd of Triceratops trudging through knee-deep drifts. They would scavenge every blade of grass in summer and hunker in dens when blizzards arrived. To survive, these giants would store energy in massive fat reserves, turning themselves into living winter buffets. But could any dinosaur truly claim victory over such a frozen world? In our timeline, what came next was us, a species of clever apes that walked out of Africa and spread across the globe. We hunted megafauna to extinction, reshaping ecosystems and building civilizations that pondered the deep history of their planet. In our alternative timeline, that story never happened. The human chapter was canceled before it began. No Homo sapiens ever turned up to climb trees, sharpen spears, or light fires. The specific sequence of events in African primate evolution played out differently, or not at all. Despite the passage of millions of years, the Pleistocene glacial cycles still marched on their 100,000-year rhythm. Dinosaurs remained masters of migration and survival. Each advance of the ice sheets sent them south. Each retreat let them surge north again. After 230 million years, they had become ultimate survivors. The ice was just another challenge to meet. Without humans to tell the tale, the glaciers would advance and retreat, unnoticed by any eye. The great ice sheets would bury the poles and then recede, like the breath of a sleeping giant. The dinosaurs themselves would be the only witnesses, passing the story down in genes rather than tales. Each Pleistocene dawn they survived would feel much like the last. Imagine dinosaurs watching the sunrise over melting ice, with no one there to celebrate. Would a painted cave wall ever mark another spring? In that endless cycle of ice and life, does an audience even matter? That cycle of ice and life would continue, with or without eyes to see it. Imagine a world where no one marks time by history, just endless seasons turning. In that silent tundra, the story of the ice ages would simply go on. There's a rule in biology called Bergmann's rule. In cold climates, the advantage goes to the giants. Simply put, large bodies retain heat better. More bulk and less surface means a slower heat loss. In wintry lands, being big is like wearing a permanent coat. Think of polar bears, double the size of black bears. Cave bears dwarfed today's brown bears. Irish elk had antlers 3.5 meters wide, carried on bodies built like tanks. In those icy steppes and forests, cold made giants. If dinosaurs obeyed Bergmann's rule, how massive might they have become? In that frozen world, giants emerged. Ceratopsians would dominate the steppes. One might stretch 10 meters from beak to tail and stand 2.5 meters at the shoulder, weighing 8 or 9 tons. Their horns would be shorter than Triceratops, simpler but built for battle rather than display. Their bodies were massive, packed with fat and fermentation chambers to power winter survival. Imagine a herd of them pouring over the horizon, not dozens or hundreds, but thousands. A river of horned dinosaurs could blot out the sun and thunder underfoot. In summer, they'd chase the midnight sun, grazing on grass taller than a grown man's waist. In winter, they'd head south toward any open ground, miles of horned titans moving together. One adult might tip the scales of a dozen African elephants. Their thunderous footsteps would shake the earth. Xuen. Horizon to horizon they stretched, an endless procession of bone and muscle. Xuen. Even a bite from one of these colossi could be lethal. In the silence of a snowstorm, who would dare call these animals prey? The hadrosaurs were no exception to the Ice Age rule. Imagine a 7-meter duck-billed dinosaur shuffling through a blizzard. Covered in a thick, downy coat, it breathes warm air held close to the skin. Its dental batteries let it crunch through frozen sedge and reeds like a living snowplow. In deep snow, a hadrosaur could rear onto its hind legs, tail braced on the ground, to browse on buried bushes. Picture a herd huddled in a storm, hundreds of beaked bodies pressed together for warmth. Steam rose from their nostrils, clouding the air. They survived by mass and instinct, moving slowly but surely across the icy steppe. When night came, they dozed in tight clusters, tails toward the wind for cover. A single bite from a predator would risk meeting that dinosaur's horn. Xuen? With this scale, a pack of hunters would think twice. One misplaced strike would be their last. In the silence of falling snow, who could say who truly held the advantage? The world beyond the ice was just as connected. Picture the Bering Land Bridge, a highway of dinosaurs linking Asia and North America. Species that evolved in Mongolia could stroll into Alaska as if crossing a quiet highway at midnight. Xuen, a Siberian Tyrannosaurus, would be a cousin to one in Alberta, split only by open tundra, not oceans. Ceratopsians in Wyoming would mingle with their Mongolian kin. From France to Florida, the chill united continents into one giant ecosystem. Xuen. For millions of years, a dinosaur could roam thousands of kilometers without ever leaving its community. Xuen. Every winter, when Asian herds chased the growing grass south, they might cross Beringia right next to North American herds doing the same. Xuen. By the time the ice shrank, a dinosaur could wander from the steppes of Russia all the way to California. It was an endless winter safari. In this cold world, continental borders faded. Dinosaurs didn't know modern boundaries. What wild communities would pour across the continents once the cold was gone? Further south, the Ice Age was a distant memory. In the Amazon basin, the Congo, and Southeast Asian jungles, the Mesozoic world persisted unchanged. Massive sauropods still browsed the high canopy, and small theropods hunted in the understory, as they did in the Cretaceous. It was as if a Jurassic wildlife preserve had survived. These warm, equatorial refuges sheltered living Cretaceous-era habitats. When the glaciers finally retreated, dinosaurs from these pockets would pour back out into the lands that had frozen over. What dinosaurs might emerge from these ancient green islands? Predators ruled the frozen world too. Pack-hunting tyrannosaurs became true apex predators of the ice. A band of feathered Tyrannosaurus practiced complex hunts, one line driving the prey, another flanking, others hiding in ambush. In clouds of steam and snow, they coordinated with uncanny skill, some chasing down a ceratopsian herd, while others cut off escape routes. Feathered dromaeosaurs darted through the tundra in wolf-like packs, chasing deer-sized herbivores in bursts of speed. Even the clever Troodontids reached the peak of their cunning. With large brains and keen senses, they could set traps and pass signals with calls, teaching each other hunting tricks. Imagine them spreading among their nests, from parent to offspring, the knowledge of survival. In the dark Arctic twilight, who would reign supreme? The relentless hunters or the clever ones? In such a world, it was hard to guess who had the advantage. The seas had their own Pleistocene fauna. Mosasaur and plesiosaur lineages diversified into dozens of species, filling every marine niche from coastal shallows to the open ocean. Some developed thick blubber to survive the cold, evolving whale-like bodies. Picture a giant plesiosaur gliding under ice, mouth open to strain krill like a great whale. Others became powerful swimmers, hunting fish and squid in the polar seas. A mosasaur might rival even a sperm whale in size, yet the water held it up. Each year they migrated, following prey between warm tropical waters and the frigid poles. In that frozen ocean, who ruled the deep? The ice ages didn't destroy those dinosaurs. They transformed them. Through every advance and retreat, they evolved bodies and behaviors their ancestors never imagined. The giants of the frozen world were the culmination of 230 million years of evolution. Not the end of a story, but the latest chapter. Then the current interglacial began, and the ice withdrew. In our world, that gave rise to forests and tundra. Here, it meant dinosaurs emerged as the rightful rulers. This present-day Earth had been shaped by 66 million years of uninterrupted dinosaur history. What would this world look like once the ice was finally gone? Stand on a hilltop in this alternate present, and the world looks familiar. You see the same mountain ranges, rivers, and coasts that you know. Africa still presses against Europe, forming the Mediterranean. India still collides with Asia, raising the Himalayas. The Americas stretch from pole to pole, connected by the narrow isthmus of Central America. The map is the same. What's different is the cast of characters. On the Serengeti grasslands, volcanic soil and endless grass remain, but instead of wildebeest and zebras, you'd see herds of ceratopsians grazing the horizon. It's our Earth, but ruled by the giants our world knows only in fossil form. What would you see when you step outside? Let's take a tour, continent by continent. Start in East Africa. The geography is the same. Volcanic soils, seasonal rains, endless grasslands. But instead of wildebeest and zebra, herds of ceratopsians rip the grass with their beaks as they wander. Horned heads sway in rhythm with the tall grass. Some of these dinosaurs rival elephants in size, filling the mega herbivore niche. Others are smaller and faster, relying on sheer numbers for safety. Around them, packs of feathered theropods patrol the edges, dinosaur analogs of hyenas and wild dogs. Imagine any predator trying to single out a calf in this sea of horned tanks. In this world, what predator could survive here? Above the savannas, the sky would be filled with pterosaurs, not the giants of the Cretaceous, but smaller cousins adapted to this modern world, circling like vultures. Some would be scavengers, diving to snatch carrion. Others, active hunters, stooping on rodents with falcon-like precision. And of course, there are birds, the one dinosaur lineage that did survive. Now they share the skies with these pterosaurs, ancient winged cousins, filling niches from songbirds to eagles. Africa would be alive with winged predators of all kinds. Cross the Atlantic to South America, and you'd find something stranger still. The continent spent this time isolated, giving dinosaurs room to do their own thing. Perhaps sauropods never died out here. Imagine a herd of long-necked dinosaurs browsing in the Amazon's tree canopies, a living reminder of a Jurassic giant. Perhaps new dinosaur forms would evolve, unlike anything seen on other continents. Armor-plated browsers, or odd balancers walking on two legs. It's as if South America invented its own prehistoric creatures, parallel to the island's odd mammals. Australia would be truly alien. In our world, it isolated marsupials. Here, it would isolate whatever dinosaur community was there 45 million years ago when it split from Antarctica. Those creatures would evolve alone in the outback. We can't say exactly what they'd be. Perhaps something as unexpected as the kangaroo or platypus. But they would be entirely their own brand of dinosaur, shaped by Australia's dry climate and eucalyptus woodlands. It would be like unlocking a Pandora's box of dinosaur evolution. On the northern continents, the picture is what we've been tracing. Vast grasslands filled with ceratopsians and hadrosaurs in herds, tyrannosaurs and dromaeosaurs hunting in coordinated packs, Troodontids tinkering with tools and living in complex social groups. The fauna would vary with latitude. Tropical forests in the south giving way to temperate woodlands, then savannas, and eventually tundra near the Arctic. But the main cast of dinos, the horned herbivores and their predators, would be recognizable from Florida to France. It would be one great, cold-ruled ecosystem. The oceans would truly be ruled by marine reptiles. Mosasaurs and plesiosaurs would fill every marine niche, from sleek fish eaters in the shallows to giant filter feeders in polar waters. Some might resemble modern tuna or dolphins in shape, dashing after prey. Others would rival the largest whales of our world. Imagine a 30-meter plesiosaur, guts full of plankton as it glides through Arctic krill blooms. They'd be the biggest animals ever, supported by the buoyancy of water. In this world, the blue whale's place was taken long ago by a grand marine reptile. What you would not see anywhere on this alternative Earth is a human. No cities on the horizon, no roads cutting across the grasslands, no ships on the ocean or airplanes in the sky, no farms or fences. The world would be wild in a way our world hasn't been for 10,000 years. Perhaps in a way our world never truly was. Because even before agriculture, humans were reshaping ecosystems through hunting and fire. Without humans, the megafauna would be far more abundant. Herds of ceratopsians could number in the millions, their biomass dwarfing anything in the mammal world. Without farms or roads, ecosystems would be continuous across continents. Migrations and gene flow on scales we can hardly imagine. Without humans to drive species extinct, global biodiversity would be far higher. Not just because the dinosaurs are there, but because the cascade of extinctions we caused would never have occurred. And the planet itself would be different. No fossil fuels burned, no carbon dioxide pumped into the atmosphere by industry, no global warming heating the globe. The alternate Earth of 2026 would still be in the grip of the Pleistocene Ice Age cycle, heading toward another glacial maximum in a few thousand years. Its climate would be controlled by orbital mechanics and volcanoes instead of industry. The dinosaurs would face the coming Ice Age as they always had, by migrating, adapting, and evolving. There's something to be said for a world that's been stable for 230 million years. No single species reshaping the entire biosphere to suit its whims. A world where evolution proceeds at its natural pace, driven by climate, competition, and chance, instead of a technological civilization's choices. There's a kind of purity to such a world, even if there's no one there to appreciate it. The dinosaurs didn't choose to rule the Earth. They simply evolved to fit the conditions they found, and then they kept evolving as those conditions changed. They survived asteroid impacts and volcanic eruptions, ice ages and greenhouse spikes, the rise of flowers and grasses. They were the ultimate generalists, the great survivors. If the asteroid had missed, they would have continued to be the masters of Earth, adapting to whatever came next, diversifying into whatever niches became available, living and dying and evolving without ever wondering why. We've spent this entire documentary talking about dinosaurs, what they would have become, how they would have adapted, what forms they would have evolved to fill the niches of the modern world. But a question lingers. What about the mammals? In our timeline, when the dinosaurs fell, mammals exploded into the empty niches. For 150 million years, they had been small, often nocturnal creatures living in the shadows. Then the asteroid hit, and the dinosaurs died. Suddenly, the world was empty, and mammals diversified into everything from tiny shrews to giant whales. Within 10 million years of the extinction, they had conquered land, sea, and sky. In our alternative timeline, that opportunity never came. The dinosaurs survived, and the mammals stayed in the shadows. But shadows aren't nothing. The mammals wouldn't have gone extinct. They would simply have remained what they were for millions of years. Small, secretive, and perfectly adapted to niches dinosaurs can't fill. Over 66 more million years of evolution, they would diversify within those limits, filling every dark corner of the world. The night would have belonged to them. Dinosaurs, with their large eyes and high body temperatures, were almost certainly diurnal, active by day and sleeping at night. The evidence suggests early mammals evolved their warm-blooded metabolism, fur, and keen senses, specifically to exploit the nocturnal niche, hunting insects and avoiding dinosaurs in the darkness. In our alternate world, that niche would stay theirs. The forests of this modern Earth would come alive after sunset, with small furry creatures hunting and foraging in the hours between dusk and dawn. The underground would have belonged to them too. Burrowing is a strategy that favors small bodies. The energy to dig increases rapidly with size. And even in the Mesozoic, mammals were burrowers. In this timeline, one might imagine whole underground networks, tunnels and chambers inhabited by mammal species that rarely or never venture to the surface. These subterranean mammals would have evolved incredible adaptations, enhanced hearing and smell to navigate in darkness, sensitive whiskers to feel every tunnel wall, reduced eyes, or even no eyes at all. They would be invisible to the dinosaurs above, a hidden empire crisscrossing the planet in secret. The treetops could have been another refuge. Small mammals can climb where large dinosaurs cannot, and the canopy of a forest is essentially dinosaur-free. A world of branches and leaves would be accessible only to creatures light enough to tiptoe on twigs. Here, primate-like mammals might have evolved, grasping hands and feet, forward-facing eyes for depth perception, living in the three-dimensional maze of vines and branches. They wouldn't necessarily be our kind of primate. The exact family we know might not have arisen. But some tree-dwelling mammals would fill those arboreal niches, perhaps developing many primate-like features by convergent evolution. Could intelligence have emerged in those treetop living mammals? Possibly, though likely not at human levels. The specific pressures that drove our intelligence, life on the open savanna, big territory, complex group coordination, probably wouldn't exist up in the canopy. These animals might evolve brains like raccoons or big-brained squirrels, clever and adaptable, but perhaps not building cities or telescopes. A wild card might have been the oceans. In our timeline, whales and dolphins evolved from land mammals that returned to the sea, filling large predator and filter feeder niches left empty by the extinction of marine reptiles. In our alternative world, those niches are occupied by mosasaurs and plesiosaurs, but perhaps not all of them. Mosasaurs and plesiosaurs were air breathers tied to the surface. They could not dive very deep or stay under long. A lineage of mammals that evolved for deep diving, developing extreme breath holding and pressure resistance like modern whales, might have exploited the ocean's darkest zones. Imagine a warm-blooded, dolphin-sized creature with flippers and blubber, diving for half an hour at a time hundreds of meters down, using echolocation like a bat. In the deep scattering layer, hundreds of meters below the sun, it would be alone among the squid and fish, a new whale in a world still ruled by marine reptiles above. Its only competitors might be ghostly sharks or giant squids. Above, mosasaurs and pliosaurs would prowl near the surface. This is speculation, of course. We can't know exactly how mammals would evolve if dinosaurs lived on, but one thing is sure: life finds a way. Any ecological niche that exists will eventually be filled by something. Mammals would find niches dinosaurs can't exploit and diversify. They wouldn't inherit the Earth. That prize would remain with the dinosaurs who had ruled it for 230 million years. But they would carve out a parallel world of their own. They would become masters of the margins, kings of the shadows and the deep. A parallel branch of life thriving in the niches the giant reptiles overlooked. The mammals never went extinct in this world. They just didn't get the chance to dominate. Perhaps in the forests and oceans of the dark, there might still be rat-sized creatures or dolphin analogs thriving unseen. And here's a strange thought. If you're hearing these words, it means the asteroid hit. That's the paradox at the heart of this thought experiment. The very act of imagining a world where dinosaurs survived requires a mind capable of imagination, and that mind exists only because the dinosaurs died. Human intelligence is not an inevitable endpoint of evolution, not a summit life was climbing toward. It's a contingency, an accident, the result of a particular sequence of events that started with a rock from space. If the asteroid had missed, there would be no one here right now to ask these questions. This is not to say intelligence couldn't evolve in the dinosaur world. We've imagined Troodontids growing clever, pack-dwelling predators learning to communicate, dinosaurs that cooperate and problem-solve. Some form of intelligence likely would have appeared somewhere in the dinosaur family tree. It's too useful an adaptation to be far from inevitable. But intelligence like ours, consciousness that can wonder and create and build, that required very specific conditions. Our ape ancestors leaving the trees to hunt on the African savanna. The pressures of that open, grassy world favoring cooperation, tool use, and communication. In the Ice Age world, those conditions might never line up. The primates could stay in trees or never exist at all. The savanna might belong to dinosaurs, leaving no room for an ape-like niche. The precise sequence of climate change and migration that led to humans might simply not happen, so there might be no one to ask, what if? But here's the thing I want to leave you with. The absence of human-style intelligence doesn't make the alternate world lesser or emptier. It just makes it different. And different is not the same as worse. The alternate Earth we've been imagining is a world of staggering complexity and beauty. Herds of ceratopsians flowing across grasslands like living rivers. Packs of feathered predators hunting with coordination and cunning. Marine reptiles cruising through oceans that have never felt a ship's wake or a fishing net. Pterosaurs soaring on thermal currents above mountains nobody has climbed. Life in all its diversity, struggle, and improbable persistence, playing out on a landscape that has remained essentially unchanged for 230 million years. This world would not need us to appreciate it. It would simply be itself, a planet covered with living things, each the product of billions of years of evolution. We tend to assume consciousness is the point of evolution, the goal life was striving toward. But that's just our bias speaking. The natural tendency of any thinking being to assume thinking matters most. Evolution has no goal. It's just variation, selection, and inheritance playing out over deep time, producing whatever forms survive in whatever conditions exist. Dinosaurs weren't failures because they didn't evolve human brains. They were spectacular successes. They dominated Earth for 165 million years, and their lineage continues today in birds. If they'd survived the asteroid, they'd still be here as the dominant lineage, adapting to every challenge. No one would be around to say otherwise. Maybe there's something to be said for that. For a world without people, no one to blame or credit or worship, where life simply is life, where creatures live and die without ever wondering why. As you drift toward sleep, perhaps imagine it, a warm, Mesozoic night, the distant rumble of a ceratopsian herd on the move, stars wheeling overhead, the same stars in our sky, the same slow dance of the cosmos that could not care what walks below. In that world, a dinosaur sleeps too, its eyes closed, breath slowing, waiting for dawn. Two worlds, two timelines, the same night falling over both of them. The dinosaurs never asked why. They simply lived.